I've been seeing a lot of the same comments over and over and over again about the iPhone 12. It's not going to have 120 hertz and that makes it boring, or the notch is going to be the same size. Is this really that big of a year, actually? The beginning of the year, we were so full of hope. We were so excited for the no-notch iPhone and USB-C, and yes, it'll be adopting a 64-megapixel 1000x zoom. But then as we get closer, our dreams get shattered and our goals fall apart, and what we expect the iPhone to be slowly starts to become more realistic. But I'm here to tell you today that despite all of our boredom, or despite all of our disinterest in it not having flagship specs or not being able to achieve what we see Androids achieve, truth is, the iPhone 12 still probably going to do very, very well, and it's not just because Apple sheep will buy anything, it's because Apple, deep down in their core, when it comes to iPhone sales, they know what most people care about, and they know what to prioritize, and it's not us tech enthusiasts. Let's begin. So yeah, I'm kind of all there with you. I want to have the flagship specs, I want smaller notch, I want faster charging, all of those great things that we see in Android competitors that make headlines because these phones are the best of the best, but the truth is, the best of the best smartphones out there are typically not the best selling ones, and Apple has really struck gold with the iPhone 11, okay? We've gotten more statistics recently that are suggesting throughout the first half of 2020, the iPhone 11 was globally the most shipped smartphone, and the interesting thing about that iPhone 11, it's super duper popular, people are buying it all over the world, and it's probably one of the most boring iPhone upgrades of all time. I mean, just from year over year changes between the XR and the 11, the screen was identical to last year, the display was the same size, pixel density was the same, it was still made of aluminum, there was just some new colors, and when it comes to being able to recognize the XR from the 11, the only difference is, of course, the dual camera on the back. That allowed for ultra-wide shots and night mode, and just because it was $50 cheaper and started at $700, it sold like mad. It sold like crazy, and Apple saw a lot of success with that model, and like it or not, that has become the center stage for Apple. I know they want to reorient themselves as a services company, but truly, those entry-level but still flagship iPhones, I don't want to say mid-range because I know that would probably tick a lot of you off if I called a $700 phone mid-range, but forgive me when there's $2,000 foldables and $1,500 dual-screen phones coming out to call a $700 phone mid-range. But I know, in the grand scheme of things, it's still fairly expensive. It's on more of the higher price end when it comes to what a lot of people are buying in the smartphone world these days. But like we talked about with the iPhone 11 last year, sometimes boring is good and safe for a company. You can make a boring upgrade that results in a really, really solid product that tons of people enjoy. And vice versa, you can make really, really interesting smartphones where there's a lot of new tech and a lot of new things to talk about them. Some might even call them innovative, and yet they're not for that many people, and they sell horribly, and not many people find them to be worth it. So while the iPhone 12 may be incredibly boring to us because we're talking about the bleeding edge latest generation technology all the time, the truth is iPhone hardware is a significant portion, in fact the biggest portion of revenue for Apple, and there's a reason that they don't take significant huge chances on it, because they need to figure out exactly what to design and what to engineer to make the most amount of people interested in buying a new iPhone. And if it was adding 120 hertz and shrinking the notch, or eliminating the notch, or adding a bunch of stuff that we may consider standard, but we start to realize looking at the Android market, everything's getting more and more and more expensive, and Apple knows those higher prices aren't necessarily going to help them that much in the long run, because it's going to result in less units sold, and that means overall less profit. So while I may be very disappointed with the iPhone 12 Pro series, because I feel like those iPhones should be more designated to the tech enthusiasts, I wouldn't even mind if they got more expensive as long as they had more flagship specs. And I'm not trying to defend their choices of leaving so many things the same this year. I still think it would be great if we could get 120 hertz, USB-C, smaller notch. All of those things I'm in favor of, but the truth is Apple's not putting much priority on those because they know the regular iPhone 12 and 12 Max, those are the bread and butter. That's going to be the star of the show, and that's what most eyes are going to be on. A lot of you may think, oh, they're basically the same. Other than the squared edges, what's the big change this year? It's not really that big. They're not going to sell that well. Well, it appears Apple is preparing 75 million units at least in their first batch of iPhones, which means they're not expecting demand to be lower this year. In fact, due to the pandemic, Apple has actually seen quite an uptick in more people buying laptops and iPads and basically more equipment for working from home. And I think Apple's estimating that probably a lot of people expecting their stimulus checks and a lot of people at home waiting for new stuff, and how online shopping is kind of making a whole resurgence even during the pandemic, they probably expect demand for the iPhone to still be pretty strong this year. And there's a bunch of features coming to the iPhone 12 that are going to be brand new for people outside of the tech community, given we're seeing such tremendous success with the iPhone 11 series this year. And that means a lot of people using iPhones today are not using the Pro phones. They're not using the stainless steel OLED displays. A lot of people are still rocking those iPhone 8s, those 7s, those 6Ss. Yes, they're out there. I still see them. And a lot of people are still rocking their 10Rs or their iPhone 11s. And when they see these new iPhones come out, and they may start at $650, $700, and they see that they can get OLED and thinner bezels, and this new squared off design is going to instantly make all of their old iPhones feel dated, and they know that with trade-in it can only end up costing them $300, $400, the iPhone 12 is still ripe for market domination. I think that there's a lot of things still coming to the iPhone this year that may not seem new to us because we're reading about it all the time, and we've known iPhones are going to have squared edges since the beginning of this year, and we've known there's going to be 4 new form factors. Yes, the smallest iPhone in a long time, and yes, the biggest iPhone ever. We know about all that stuff, which is why I think we're bored with it, is because we follow leaks and we follow what reports are saying, but the rest of the world doesn't. The rest of the world simply does not care, and a lot of them will not even know about these products until Apple officially unveils and launches them, and that's when most of the eyes are on Apple and realizing all these new features coming out, and they can say, ooh, carriers have been hyping up that 5G crap a lot, I better get a new iPhone that supports it, and also that new squared off design looks really cool. Oh, those bezels look so slick compared to my old 10R or 11 with its LCD display. So while it may seem boring and old, OLED will be kind of a new thing for a lot of iPhone users this year. And yeah, go ahead, make your memes and jokes about how Apple sells something like they invented it, but it's been around for a long time. That's great, keep telling yourself that. But at the end of the day, software and what's happening on the display matters more than the display itself. But still, if it's hardware that Apple is selling this year and they're able to showcase more affordable and yet premium hardware for people to get their hands on, they're gonna upgrade. And I expect Apple to see pretty strong demand with the iPhones this year still, despite the Pro lineup lacking features that we expect out of everyday flagships. So that's kind of to set the record straight on my videos prior, talking about how I thought the iPhone 12 could be a super cycle. I still see that as being a possibility, and I see it dominating the market, and I think Apple's once again going to have one of the most popular smartphones shipped throughout 2021 just because of how solid and how great of an all-around package the iPhone 12s are going to be for the everyday consumer. Sometimes it's not about having the best of the best technology in one package. It just comes down to figuring out what most consumers care about and prioritizing that over everything else, which is why I really feel like we should have skipped 5G this year and saved some money, but still. iPhone 12s, they're gonna sell like crazy, and just because they're lacking things the tech community really wants isn't gonna change that. Of course, many of you may think I'm wrong, so feel free to let me know in all of the detailed ways, but this is your Apple Sheep here, and I'll see you in the next one.